Welcome to Decoded Dialogues, where tech talks and stories spark transformation. I'm your host, Crystal Fernandez, and joining me today is someone who knows the world of Oracle EPM inside and out, Mike Russell. He's an expert in Oracle EPM and AI Agent Studio, and he's helped countless organizations turn data into strategy and tech into transformation. We're going to unpack how these tools are reshaping the way business plans perform and innovate. So let's get into it and decode the future of enterprise intelligence together. Mike, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Crystal.
Um,
Terrific to be here.
can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, how you came to work with Oracle EPM, how you got into this space?
Sure. Well, it's been a long journey. Yeah, I spent a little over 18 years in industry. I was an FP&A guy, financial systems, database administration, finance, accounting, all that good stuff for many years, using Oracle products all along the way, whether it was JD Edwards, e-business suite, PeopleSoft. Of course, I'm an old Hyperion S-based guy. And then some years ago, I got exposed to the cloud, Oracle Cloud, and about 5 years passed. I joined Oracle. So almost 25 years of working in that Oracle space. And it was, really good fortunate for me to just have all that background, but then being able to bring it to the mothership, as I like to call it. So yeah. So that's my background. But I was an Oracle administrator. I was an implementer, but I joined Oracle directly from a customer. And I had moved that customer from their legacy setup to the Oracle Cloud Enterprise Performance Management Suite. And I watched it blow up in their world. So it just was really fun to see all the excitement in their faces. And I was doing all that training and all that kind of good stuff. So I really love that. So that's my background.
I love that. So you got to bring the baby into the world.
I did.
Um,
I did.
so,
Yeah,
okay, so for those who are new to Oracle EPM, can you give us just a quick overview of what it is and why it's so critical for enterprise performance?
excellent. Yeah. It's a full suite and it covers, I'll say it this way. When you think about, your resource planning, whether it's, doing debits and credits or, for accounting pieces, or if you're doing, orders, invoicing, all that kind of good stuff for customers, all critical, right? And necessary to run the business. But a trial balance is debits equal credits, ideally, 0, 0. They balance out. That's great. It's terrific. But it doesn't actually mean anything beyond that, just that debits equal credits. You have to turn that into an income statement, a balance sheet, a cash flow. And then eventually you want to be able to forecast those out. Okay. Looking at the future. What's it going to look like in a quarter, a year, 5 years, where you need to manage the business. And that's where Performance Management Suite steps in, because you have to manage the business today and tomorrow. Your debits and your credits aren't going to do that, but they're critical for running the business. So I think of it that way, that it really is about being, and there's so much around, not just finance. There's operational planning. There's, of course, headcount, and how, bringing on new workers, allocations, operational modeling, sales planning. The possibilities and use cases for performance management are endless throughout the organization. It's not just a finance and accounting tool.
All right. How have you seen Oracle EPM evolve over the last few years, especially with the rise of cloud native solutions?
Yeah, that's a good one. I had a front row seat for this because, as I mentioned, for so many years, I was an old on-prem guy, right? And then 2016, 17, I started to get exposure to the cloud. I didn't really realize, whoa, wait, this is S-based, but it's now in the cloud, and so I got to see, that was just a couple of years past when we had released the cloud, performance management cloud. And so I got to see that and be right there and watch the evolution as I was implementing. And I think that a la carte history of, oh, here's a planning, point solution. Here's a consolidation point solution. Here's a reconciliation point solution. This has evolved into a full suite that you implement and adapt as your company, as your business does as well. And that's what is so critical, is that we meet you where you are at any given moment, even when you hopefully start with us. Let's say you just need reconciliations. Sure, you have it. Then 6 months, a year goes by. We need a planning solution. We need a consolidation solution. You've already got it. And I think that's what really, for me, the evolution of changing along with those core things around point solutions, and being able to eliminate that and just you have one full suite that does whatever you need. We've also eliminated any concerns about data, about processing. We don't charge you for data. We don't care how much you put in the cloud. I always joke with customers, you could put the Library of Congress in Oracle Cloud. We don't care.
Right.
And that's the idea, is that's the evolution, is that data is the fuel of the modern enterprise. So if you have good data, everything extends from that. And if you're able to manage that data, coming back to that performance management piece, you're in control. You can look at metrics, key performance indicators, all of that. And it unlocks with performance management.
What are some common misconceptions companies may have when implementing EPM systems or looking for a new EPM system to implement?
Yeah. I think there's probably three main ones that come to mind. One, and I'll get a little deeper into each of them, but I think it's the concerns about time, about money,
Sure.
and about let's call it post go live support or additional support beyond once you have it and what goes from there. And
My area
that's what I
of
like to.
expertise.
Yeah, right, right. The thing that's incredible about performance management is it is designed to be up and running quickly. It's not an ERP level or a supply chain level solution that takes a year or more, 18 months, 2 years to roll out. It's designed to be up and running quickly. We can leverage the fact that a lot of the ways that companies do finance, accounting, they have to be IFRS compliant, GAAP compliant. That we can enable that. There's also accelerators so that from our partners, so that the timing component becomes measured in weeks and mere months, a couple of months even. Some of them are put up in, just some weeks, uh, and not in that horrible timeline of, oh, well, 2 years from now we'll get to take benefit, actually see a payback on this investment. The money perspective too. These solutions historically were very costly. They took a lot of resources. That's simply not the case anymore. It's a subscription. So you pay, named license user, you have your user base, and that's it. And if you want to add functionality, you just turn it on. They've already got a license, they're good to go. So
Sure.
it's much more cost effective from a total cost ownership perspective. Over the life of, you're subscribing with us, which hopefully is indefinitely. We want that,
Right.
want you to be a happy customer. But that's the thing, is that if you do the math on this, you're actually benefiting that first year. And then from there, it just keeps getting better and better because your multiplier effect really starts to come on. Oh, I want to add this new piece of the solution, allocations, for example. I have to go buy all these new licenses. Nope. All the people that are using it now, you just turn on allocations for them and they have it available to them. So that's an example of where cost can be really effective for you. And then finally, the post go live support. Performance management was designed to be administrated by the people using it. In other words, IT can continue to doing IT things, disaster recovery, network connectivity, security. Yes, absolutely. Performance management can be run by the finance and accounting team. And that means it's good segregation of duties, roles, and responsibilities. It makes things a lot smoother and easier. And I'm speaking from my own personal experience. When I came on at my company previously, IT was having to bear a lot of that burden. And when
Right.
I came along and said, "Look, we're going to do this," and they said, "Fantastic, we don't want to own this anymore anyway,"
They're like,
and
please
then
take
we
it.
yes. And the office of the CFO loved it. I mean, I worked for the CFO and he was elated to have this in our purview and in our bailiwick. And I think that benefited everybody. So I think those are the three main areas that I think some of those misconceptions, and I
Yeah.
want to dispel any of those that might be out.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. So now that we have a baseline of what EPM is, let's talk about the really fun stuff. Uh, AI, right?
Oh,
AI Agent Studio. Let's
hot
talk
topic.
about that.
Everybody wants.
Yeah, that's a very big topic. So let's
Sure.
let's let's shift gears and
Okay.
talk about AI Agent Studio. What exactly is it? How does it complement the tools like Oracle EPM? And what are you seeing right now that is super exciting?
For sure. So the AI Agent Studio is released across the Oracle suite. It allows you to um, design your own agentic AIs specific to your business, which is tremendously powerful. and we encourage that level of agency with our customers. We want them to have that autonomy. So you can design the agents to do what you want them to do, whether it's repetitive processes, um, anything. Think of it like an assembly line, of things you're doing, whether it's finance and accounting or operations or supply chain or resource planning needs, invoicing, billing customers, anything like that. So being able to design an AI agent. Now, specifically in the regard of performance management, that is where not only do we have out of the box agents, but what's coming is the ability to have those EPM agents specific to EPM processes. Again, through the lens of FP&A or through accounting, imagine having a workflow orchestration. You got a task list and the agent is monitoring that task list, waiting for humans to touch the different pieces. Hey, the books are open, right? Or maybe it's day -1, the books aren't open yet, but any data needs to come on over. Then it's day 0 and the books open up, or day 1. Um, and then from there, you want to notify the accountants, hey, start your entries, and folks, start your engines, right? Get going for the
Yep.
close. From there, maybe there's reversals, there's accruals, all the bookings that need to happen. They're being notified by those agents, and the agents are monitoring and watching that activity. And then maybe there's cool, this is done. My humans have handled this for me. Now I'm going to go grab data from the ERP and pull that in and notify the finance team that they can start looking at their allocations. They can start looking at their monthly or quarterly forecasts and notify, hey, this is ready to go, and now we need to update this. Please, and then maybe even if there's an approval flow of something that management, you've got 2 hours before management's going to start being notified that this needs to be
Mhm.
completed, kind of thing. So that's just an example of where agents in the performance management suite. You can also use it in the context of allocations, having it run an allocation for you and notify folks of where maybe something is running into the red as a result of a proposed allocation that's coming. What if analysis,
Mhm.
sandboxing. Um, we also have, in the context of transaction matching, something that will be coming that's on the roadmap, of course, is that ability to transaction matching right now has rules that the company sets
Sure.
based upon their own frequent rules that they see between, let's say, intercompany AR and AP. Hey, we see these transactions matching up. Is this a potential match human? That's machine learning. Well, where we're taking this is where the machine, the AI, will start observing their data and bringing potential matching rules to the customer and saying, we've looked through your data and we see that invoices match here every quarter. This trailing invoice has this amount and this vendor. Could this be a rule that you'd want to implement? It's going to be sort of looking for patterns and all that kind of stuff. That's where the agents are starting to look for things that maybe humans can't catch.
So the
Um,
agents are becoming
yeah.
proactive.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're starting to, and that's really where, to that point, Crystal, we're talking about like the insights and intelligent performance management, the ability to look at our data, look at your data as a customer, and bring anomalies or biases and then correlations between external variables like consumer price index or gross domestic product or interest rate, volatility. Marrying all those things together with your data and then the AI monitoring and bringing it to the human's attention to say, I found this human. I always say it's like a dog with a bone. I found this human. I don't know what to do with it, but if you like it, and you want to tell a story about it, I'm here to help. And that's where I think it's really taking us to the next level of productivity.
That's amazing. How do you ensure that the AI agents are trustworthy, that are aligned with your business goals, that they are, essentially telling the truth and not providing hallucinations, if you will, not providing you like weird data? Like how do we ensure that that's what they're doing?
Absolutely. So this comes back to the core infrastructure of performance management and all of Oracle Suite, which is most definitely the data centers, security, permissions, all of that is handled by Oracle. That's our promise to our customers. What that means is that you're in a single tenancy. Your data is your data. You own your data. You have full control over it. We don't even see it, frankly. We see your URL and all that good stuff, but you own that URL, and that's you're in control of it. What that means is that we don't share your data out with the world. We're not training our models on your information. Um, and so when it's learning pattern recognition on your data. It's purely your information, your data. And anything you want to externally bring in, again, you have full control, full permissions, full structural integrity. And what that means too is that, of course, in our contract language and everything else, these are our promises, our uptime, our security, everything like that. But that's our obligation and our commitment to our customers, which is that we're not, teaching it with external stuff. We don't care about, we know you don't care about, high school term papers and all that kind of stuff. You care about your data,
Right.
and your patterns. And I think that's definitely there. And then I think also, um, those agents get smarter. They're learning from you, meaning your user base at your, as a customer.
So explain that a
So,
little bit, like how do they learn from the customer?
right. It's seeing I bring that dog, I'm the dog of the bone, I bring that bone to the human, and the human jumps into the reporting area, right? That narrative reporting area. And I've given that human a little bit of a prompt based upon, the generalities that I know. But then the human starts adding commentary, typing it in, taking agency over it, ownership. The AI is going to start learning that and seeing those patterns from the people. And so you can imagine the more you feed it, the better, the faster, the more efficient, the more accurate it's going to get. So sure, it has that default kind of, load at the start of, everything, but then very quickly, this becomes an AI that is specific to your company and
Mm,
your products, your services, what your employees are giving to it, and then it has that added in its own little knowledge base specific to you. So I think that's what's really special, is that what you're getting is a fully configured and hybridized model of what is your own information, and then the Oracle platform, the Oracle suite, and we're bringing those together for you to let you fully leverage it. So I think that's what's really, when you talk about security and concern, you have full control, and that's just day one. And then from there, you can, and you, by the way, you can load up documentation from your own company. You can bring in your
right.
10Ks, 10Qs, any operational modeling. You can bring your own machine learning you might have done. I should make sure Crystal, that that's out there. You can bring your own machine learning that you may have done. But bring your own beer, BYOB,
Right.
BYOML. Bring your own machine learning.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff you can do, and that's how you can fully trust it and feel comfortable with it.
Is that the new tagline?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's not friendly, but I always
Oh, it's good. It makes
I
sense.
will tell you. Well, I'll tell you this. One of the names we've had in the past for that workflow orchestration I talked about was intelligent process automation, or IPA. I
Oh,
always say I wish it was the fun beer, but it's actually process automation. But
right, of course. All right. So, let's talk a little bit about integrations, innovation, and transformation. Those are always big buzzwords, right? Those are the things that, we look at whenever we're implementing or we're looking to implement or when we're supporting or anything we're doing in our regular business, right? So, how do you see the integration of EPM and AI agents shaping the future of enterprise decision making? That's real big. That's a really big question right now.
that's a loaded one, and that's a big
Yeah, I
one. It
know.
should be. No, it should be. And I can frame it in a couple. I can frame it in a kind of a very basal way, but then take it to a more universal. This comes back to me for that point solution thing that I was talking about earlier. Time's gone by. I mean, I look back on the progress of my career the last 25 years, and how, we had this solution for this solution for that, this solution for this. And you go into different systems and nothing talked to each other, and
Yeah,
data did
I
not talk
remember.
to each other. Yeah, there was no single source of truth. I have been in so many meetings, Crystal, where I'd bring a printed out piece of paper, and bring my numbers, my graphs, charts,
Yeah,
and then I'd have someone look at me, that's not my number. I don't know where that came from. I was an FP&A guy, and then you have no alignment.
right.
Um, and I think when you talk about integration and performance management, and I truly think of it as one single source of truth. I call it the data headwaters, right? So if you have, everything starts with your general ledger or your supply chain or whatever it is that your data source.
Of course.
And that could, by the way, be a data warehouse or a data lake, whatever you have. That is the beauty of Oracle. Shameless plug, of course, but Oracle is source system agnostic. We don't care what you have. We just want to buttress up against wherever you're feeling weakness to help. So you have your data headwaters, and then that flows down like a river, all that data in different tributaries from different sources, payroll, sourcing information, procurement data, of course, your general ledger or, order invoicing or customer data, vendor data, it doesn't matter. Operational team information. That all comes to a beautiful, pristine data lake, and performance management steps in to allow you to manage that data, forecast that information, make insights, and have, uh, your telescope. You're able to
Your
get a sense of what are we doing as we go
your
forward.
critical lens.
Yes. And what if we have another black swan event? How do we react? What does it look like? How do we model this out? I think when you have a performance management suite, those agents monitoring and looking and anticipating, then you're in an anticipatory state as opposed to a reactive state. And nobody wants to be behind the eight ball anymore. I think we've seen how that works. I think when you look at the Oracle suite, whatever you adopt and implement, great, and it will help you wherever you need it to help. If you don't go with the full suite, that's okay too. People have hybrids, and we just take whatever information you want and let you know if are there holes in your data. Where is there garbage in, garbage out happening? I know I'm an old financial systems guy. Sometimes you have dirty data. This system, performance management, calls that out to you. The agents, they call that out to you. And then you go, well, shoot, I didn't know that that was so dirty. And that's been driving our business decisions and our metrics for the last 5 years. And now we know why we're a little off. So I think that kind of landscape is where I look at it for where I think we are now and where we're heading. And I think over the coming next few years, you're going to see this rapidly, you know, just start to gain steam, where people who can leverage this, companies that can leverage this, you're going to be able to do a lot more, a lot faster.
Yeah, it's absolutely changing the landscape for sure in
Yeah.
finance. What advice would you give to leaders looking to adopt these technologies, but they're unsure where to start?
Yeah. Okay. So core core question is, sounds like an old interview question. Where do you see yourself in
Yeah.
5 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But I can't help. I used to work for an exec, for a chief officer, and that is kind of the running theme, or it is the running theme of, I know where we've been, and I know where we are, but where are we heading? That's, and and so if you want to have, an enterprise grade solution, whether you're small business, medium business, or a multinational conglomerate, that's okay. That doesn't matter. EPM is there to support you. Um, it really is, what is the number one priority internally? Where your business process is not working to your liking, to your satisfaction. Is it in finance? Is it in operations? Um, frequently I see things like reconciliations being done manually. I see a planning process that has disjointed members, that nobody's communicating with each other. Operations teams have no idea how their budget was built. Planning, internal financial planning gets a number and then forces it upon, the operations crew. Allocations, operations managers have no idea where finances dropped numbers on them, and now their P&L used to be in the black, but now it's in the red. Why? Right? Though that magic black box that nobody understands. I'm bringing these examples up because I think these are the questions that an officer or a leader would want to ask themselves. What are my top 1, 2, 3 priorities? Because those are the things I would want to have demonstrated to me, by the Oracle team.
Sure.
Um, and then a little bit of self-education. We make a lot available. Just, it's public. We want you to know what's out there. Of course, that's part of our job as solution engineers, to make sure that make you aware that if you did go down this path to buy this suite, you'd have all this available to you. But that education of, well, how has the landscape changed? I talk to so many customers who have legacy on-prem, and that's all they know. And many of them still think that that's really what Oracle does. They don't
Yeah.
even realize that the cloud has happened, or if it has happened, how powerful it could be. So I think also leadership having an open mind to how much Oracle has transformed. It's not just where the customers have transformed. A decade ago, when we began this journey, well, now more than a decade ago, and began this journey in the cloud,
Mhm.
we were learning, and we've learned a tremendous amount of information, and we're applying that day to day. And that's the cloud. I use my hands a lot when I talk, Crystal. It's a living, breathing system, and I do that on purpose. Unlike the on-prem of old, that was, here's your load, it's done, and it's there. If you want to upgrade again, it's painful. That all goes away with the cloud. So thinking about what I'm saying and what's prioritization number one to you, and then What's number two, number three? And then where do you see yourself growing? Do
Sure.
you want to have the same system for your ERP and your EPM? Or do you want to be on an incumbent ERP, but leverage EPM for its purposes? And then also, what kind of internal support do you anticipate? Do you want this to be something that you buy and then lives and grows on the shelf with dust? Or do you actually want to have an active role in it? I do think with EPM, you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
And if you don't give it a lot of love, it won't give you much love back.
Right. I think that's true for any system. It is nice to know that Oracle plays well with other applications in case that is your
But
bent,
yeah,
and that is what you're going to do. But I can say that for the organizations that have adopted Oracle across the suite, HCM, SCM, ERP, EPM, like it certainly makes things far more seamless. Absolutely. But but Oracle does, like I said, play well with others. We've seen this. It does give you that same seamless feeling, once everything's integrated together, and it does all right. I'm not going to say it doesn't because it does.
I brought that up in the context of the future state of
Right.
where do you see your business going 3 to 5 years from now?
Yeah.
We have competitors products that some of them are sunsetting, some of them have grown rather
Yeah.
stale.
Yeah.
And if an officer or leader said, Mike, why should I choose you for my long-term goals? Well, also, I should make sure, Oracle's been doing this for over 45 years. We've been in business a very long time. We're still here. We're still innovating. We're still creating. Our R&D budget dwarfs so many competitors out there. That's just our R&D budget,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we blow out their top line revenue. My point is we are here to stay. We are investing in this. We're investing in you as the customer. We want to learn from you. These are the things that I think give me comfort, that gave my chief officer comfort. And that's what I think officers should ask themselves. Do I want something that's going to be there today, tomorrow, and many years from now?
Well, we know that Oracle's really investing in this space. I mean, just look at the headlines the last couple of months. The $300 billion deal with OpenAI, the joint effort with Microsoft and Nvidia. I mean, Oracle is clearly digging into the AI space. They are
Oh,
really
yeah.
showing that they have a commitment to, following this and really, growing as this technology blossoms. And it's really amazing to see the the sheer just grit that Oracle has put in, because I think a few years ago we were kind of like, oh, what are you guys doing, like what's going on, and now it's just, it feels like, I said this earlier on another show. I was saying, like, this is our generation's industrial revolution for 100%, right? Like we are shifting and shaping so much just in the last like year alone has been just staggering. And to see Oracle and what they're doing is really, it's really exciting.
I, I'm glad to hear you say that. I feel the same way. I'm very proud to be here. And that's to your point. We're living through history being made every single day. And for me, with performance management, it feels so frequent where some new feature is being released and I'm going, gosh, I didn't know that was there. Okay, I got it. I want to learn this. And that's part of the reason I joined, like I said, the mothership, because I get to see everything front row seat as it's happening. Coming back to some of the things we just talked about, the multivariate analysis that literally just came out a few weeks ago. I'm demoing it all the time. Oracle has invested tremendously in this. They want to see their customers be happy, a lifelong enjoyment of the solution, and that's why it's a living, breathing system. Adapting to the customer's needs. All of that is where it's so different from even a decade and a half ago,
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
25 years ago when I started my career. I can't believe where I used to go into a customer master alignment database and, update information and all that. And now this stuff is happening automatically with agents. You add a new vendor, you add a new customer, it's immediately
Yeah.
entered into the system, and then all the metrics are there. All the history comes in. It's terrific, and I just think this is the information age that we live in. And so I think that, to your point. So thank you for saying that. I agree. I think it's really exciting.
It really is. Okay, so if you had to decode the next big transformation in enterprise tech in one sentence, what would it be?
Decode enterprise tech. Oh wow. I'm just thinking. I think probably something to the effect of, go with my gut here. I mentioned earlier, data is the fuel of the modern enterprise. Whatever vehicle you're using, make sure you're ready to fuel it up. And I can tell you that Oracle Enterprise EPM is a high octane solution that's going to make you very happy as you speed into the future.
I love that. So I hear you're going to be at AI World, which is in about a
Sure
week
am. Yep.
from the release of this recording. So tell me what you're going to be doing there, because I heard you're going to be doing some fun stuff. So let's talk about that for a second.
I am no, thank you, Crystal. I am working the booth. I'll be
Woohoo!
working the booth, the demo booth. So yes, I'll be there the whole time.
Yeah.
And I love this. I love talking to customers. So you come by the booth, I will be there. You can't miss the blonde hair. Just come on over. Let me know what you want to see, and that's my job, is to show you anything and everything. So the fun things, of course, there'll be the AI, the agents, the machine learning across the full suite, integrating with your existing solutions and showing what's possible, whether it's planning, consolidation close, reconciliations, predictive cash forecasting, operational modeling, operational planning, um, being able to integrate with your different, you mentioned earlier, Crystal, workforce planning with human capital management, 100%.
Yes.
So come on by the booth, and if you want to see stuff, you want to talk things out, you want to share your story with me, I'm there. That's why I'm there. And it's free advice, everybody. That's why we do this, and as you folks know, I'm passionate about EPM, so you're going to get me in an element that I really enjoy. And I think, yeah, I'm going to be showing anything and everything you folks want to see. And I'm part of a much broader team, of course. So you're going to see enterprise resource planning, supply chain, human capital management, the CX team, the customer experience. Everybody will be there. So I'm just part of a much broader machine. But yeah, that'll be me, and I can't wait to see you folks there. I hope you come by
I
the
think
booth.
that's an exciting event, though, to have that many different resources that, just really understand the workings of Oracle's application and the AI applications that are, ready to go right now. And I know we're going to get some really exciting announcements, but I'm very excited to see what's happening and what's next. Mike, I've really enjoyed having you on Decoded Dialogues today.
Me too, Crystal. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. When we're done here, I'm gonna absolutely link your LinkedIn profile if that's okay with you,
Please.
and an email if that's all right. So if people want to get a hold of you outside of listening to you here today, or if they don't get the chance to go to AI World, I would definitely love for them to be able to connect with you, because I think you've got some really great insights and information, and I really appreciate you sharing some of those with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Can't wait.
Awesome. All right. So that's a wrap on today's episode of Decoded Dialogues. Huge thanks to Mike Russell for sharing his insights and stories again. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. You can find more episodes and resources linked in the show notes. And remember, tech talks and stories spark transformation. So until next time, let's continue decoding dialogues and explore the future. Thank you.